Welcome back to the Fuel Show. Still to come, we're going to take a look at the Yukon Denali, and Dennis will be in the pits. Now, the Mitsubishi Motor Company has been around since 1917. They're definitely a company of firsts. They have the first diesel engine in Japan, they had the first series production automobile, and the first four-wheel drive passenger car prototype. Now, the Mitsubishi Eclipse has been in production since 1989 and is produced solely for the United States and Canadian markets. It was built as the Eagle Talon and the Plymouth Laser in the past, but now it's time for Dennis and Ian to take a look at the 2007 Eclipse Spyder GT in our Behind the Wheel segment.
Thanks, Nick. First up for the Mitsubishi Spyder Eclipse GT is Q Factor. It's basically the gadget or tech score on a car. And the number one thing in this one is the stereo system. It's awesome.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, all kinds of wattage, a great little feature that sits right in between you on the back seats.
Yeah, well, 650-watt Rockford Fosgate system, but it's got a subwoofer built into the rear seat. So like if it's Dennis and I, the sub is right here and everybody can see it. It's right in the cabin. It's a really cool feature.
Yeah, real crystal clear sound, and it really is kind of the pinpoint for Q Factor in the Mitsubishi Spyder Eclipse. How are you going to score it?
Well, I would say it doesn't have navigation. It doesn't have any real big bells and whistles besides the stereo system. 3.75?
I think it's right on the button.
That brings us to curb appeal. It's the car's raw, unadulterated looks. It's how it looks on the street. And I think the important parts about this car that it's got a race car design. They've actually brought that into their street car, and it's got a cool modern top.
Yeah, it really does. And I think that came from the fact that when you looked at the concept car, when this design was first brought out, you saw it in magazines and you saw it on TV and things like that. And when it was actually put on the showroom floor, almost everything carried over to the consumer. And I think that's one of the most important parts of what makes it so appealing.
Yeah.
How are you going to score it?
Well, I would say the one other thing that I really love about the car is it's got a brushed aluminum fuel door. It looks a lot like a race car. I'd have to rate it high. It's a neat little car. 4?
Yeah, one of the best looking convertibles on the market today.
Next up is performance for the 2007 Mitsubishi Spyder Eclipse GT, and 260 horsepower, 258 foot-pounds of torque, 0 to 60 in 6 seconds, and 0 to 115.1. I don't know. Not that impressive, really.
It'll smoke your SVT Focus.
So?
Yeah, well, hey, this car, don't listen to him. This car is quick. It'll smoke the tires in second gear. What else do you want? And also, eye candy for the gearheads. No shrouds over the motor. A nice crinkle finish that's red on the valve covers. I mean, it's not based on being a supercar. This is a great little GT in the right price range. So, I don't know what you're going to score it, but I think I'll have to bump it up a little bit.
Well, I would say it does look good. I know there's a lot of aftermarket stuff for it, and kind of from the factory, it's pretty solid. 3.75?
All right, we'll go with what he says.
That brings us right along the fit and finish for the Mitsubishi Spyder Eclipse GT, and I think its overall build quality is tremendous. It's a lot of fun to drive, and it's put together pretty well.
Yeah, I have to agree with Ian. You know what? You can take J.D. Power and Consumer Reports, all those magazines that tell you whether or not they're good. They test toasters. Throw those magazines out the window. I got in this thing. I wrenched on this thing. I mean, I slammed the doors. I got up and tried to make the roof close incorrectly. I couldn't make anything go wrong. You know what? Build quality is based on when you get in a vehicle and you see what does or doesn't work. And I'll tell you what, this thing is built well.
Yeah, I would have to rate it pretty high. I mean, like he said, you read a lot of things about quality of car, but it's what you feel when you get in and test it. 4.25.
Absolutely.
That moves us along to drivability for the Mitsubishi Spyder Eclipse GT. And I think the main thing is, in this car, how you feel when you drive. I mean, what do you do when you get off work? What do you do when you have a bad day?
Well, you jump in a car like this. It's affordable and it's obtainable to a lot of people. And that makes it so when you do have that bad day, you get in, you put the top down, you crank up the radio.
Yeah.
Well, okay, I crank up the butt rock, he cranks up the rap, that's okay, whatever your music choice. And you just go out and catch a sunny day on a nice curvy road. This car is guaranteed to put a smile on your face, and that's why we're going to score it high.
Yeah, I would say 4.5. That's great.
Absolutely. Fun car to drive.
Take a look at how Dennis and Ian scored the Mitsubishi Eclipse Spyder GT. For Q Factor, they gave it a 3.75. In curb appeal, a 4.0. Performance was another 3.75, and fit and finish, a 4.25. Drivability, a 4.5. The total for the 2007 Mitsubishi Eclipse Spyder is 20.25 out of a possible 25. Coming up next in Fuel, we're going to take a look at the Yukon Denali. And don't forget later, join Dennis in the pits.